Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 2 of Harley Quinn, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tool comic review. Now as you know, this is obviously meant to be based on the Harley Quinn TV series, and meant to take place after the Season 2 final. And the issue have Harley, Poison Ivy and Catwoman tied up, with Bud and Lou going after one of Catwoman's cats. And it starts off with Harley and Poison Ivy planning to drop off Bud and Lou to Selina's, and is close by Gotham, and pretty much driving off to where her apartment is. We basically see that Ivy's becoming a bit suspicious of some of the construction workers and knows something's not right. And we see Harley saying, "I'm not seeing it, Ivy, but if you say we have company, I'll just grab my bat and just in case. Thanks for believing me, Harley." And of course we see that Ivy and Harley almost run over two pedestrians who have a go at her. We see how Gordon has a go at one of the undercover officers, with them saying, "They yelled at us, and one ran over my foot with their walker, Gordon." And we see how Gordon has become so obsessed with catching Ivy and Harley so they can bring Gordon's status back to place, as well as getting Gotham back on the state. We see how he talks about his ex-wife and everything around him, and I like how the two officers are a little bit creeped out. And we kind of see how they put on some music, and we see how Ivy asks if Selina knows, but turns out she doesn't. And of course, this is where Selina says, "Nope, turn your ass right back around. I am not taking in full strays." And we see how Bud and Lou try to go for Selina's cat, but of course, we see how Ivy tries to convince her to let them come in. And we see them mainly going to her apartment, and even Ivy has to remind Harley where she is, given the fact this isn't her home. And of course we see how Selina knows that Ivy and Harley's relationship is going to be in their honeymoon period, and does have some doubts and interesting details. And of course we see Harley saying, "Cop Squad, this can't be good." And we see how Gordon, Cheryl and the other officers get ready with guns and blazing, and we see how Selina plans to get back the cats away from the action, and we see how Selina says, "After this, I'm not doing you any more babysitting in solids." And of course, we see how Gordon tries to throw one of the ground grenades, despite one of the officers' protests, and of course ends up causing more harm than good. And we kind of see how one of them get attacked by Harley's hyenas, and one of them saying, "I'm out, I don't get paid enough for this." And we see how Gordon goes in, despite Cheryl protesting, calling paramedics, and they go in with all guns blazing. And of course, they end up causing damage to Selina's apartment, and we see how Ivy has to try and hold down the fort, and we see how Harley uses Selina's whip to get up to the higher platform. And just as Gordon plans to blow Ivy and Harley to Kingdom Come, we see Batman showing up saying, "Jim, put down the grenade. Sorry, friend, but that's not the mission." And we see him point out that what he's doing is stupid, and thinking about his daughter as well. And despite his protests, he still shoots up, and Batman goes, "Oh, damn it, Jim." Of course, we see that Selina plans to grab all her stuff, and they mainly make a break for it. We see how Batman tries to talk with Selina, but ends up escaping. And we see them heading off different directions, and we see how Gordon tries to go for Ivy and Harley, And we see how Batman points out that he's causing more harm than good, and saying, "This is not what a damn good cop does." Then I guess I'm not a damn good cop anymore. And we see them making a break for it. And yeah, this is the story. So I think issue 2 of the Eat, Bang, Kill tool is pretty good. You can kind of tell Selina does have her mixed doubts about Ivy and Harley's relationship, given the fact it is going to be in a honeymoon phase, and you can kind of tell even Ivy does have some mixed doubts about it. But I think it's still a good issue, so it still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.